As a beginner guitarist, what do you struggle with most? What is holding you back? What is keeping you from getting to the next level or keeping you from learning the guitar? You keep putting it down. In the description below, there'll be a link. Book a 30-minute call, we'll talk about it. But in this lesson, speaking of video calls, I was on a call today with a beginner student, and she was having trouble going from E minor to C. When we got on the video call, I wanted to see what kind of guitar she had. If your action is too high on your guitar, meaning the strings are too far away from the fretboard, it's going to be very difficult to play. That's a very high action guitar. It's hard to play. But what I noticed when I got on the call, she had a nylon string guitar. What's good about a nylon string guitar is the strings, they don't hurt your fingers nearly as much, okay? The problem is the neck on those things are like tree trunks. They're huge, they're wide. And while they're good for finger picking, sometimes chords are not the easiest to make when you're having to wrap around a neck that big. But that doesn't mean that she can't go from E minor to C and have it ring out clearly and do all the things. I found some workarounds for her, gave her 2 or 3 options, gave her something to practice with. We're gonna go over all the things that I told her, and I'm gonna show you from your point of view. Okay guys, so not all guitars are created equal. And sometimes it's not you, it's your guitar. But that doesn't mean that you can't still learn to play. In fact, I would argue that it makes you a better guitar player to learn on a less than ideal guitar, and then when you finally do level up, you're just amazed at how good you are. You know, that doesn't mean go out and buy a new guitar, especially if you can't, right? Well, she was having trouble with, and she makes her E minors like this, E minor to C. And when she showed me, they all rang out perfectly. She said it's when she gets going, right? It's like when she's doing a song. She's a singer, and she's picking up guitar. And she actually said she was surprised that everything rang out when she was talking to me and showing me. But like in the moment, it was hard. Well, I could see why, because it's just so hard to get around that neck, okay? You know, what I teach my students in the MyPOV guitar beginner course, I go with an E minor like this to an easy C like that, C major 7, and then a G6, an easy G, okay? Just to get you able to play that C and come from that E minor is very easy. But you know, she's already making her Cs like this. And you know, I didn't want to give her a bunch of dodges, you know, a way to dodge making that high C note right there. I told her that, you know, when you're playing songs, the main thing is to get to those bass notes first that name the chord usually. Hit those C, and then you have a little bit, maybe on the second strum before you find it. The best example ever is in the song Sullivan Street. It's another chord, not C, but by the time it needs to get there, but that's how the song is written, I have plenty of time to get to that F sharp. So I told her to, you know, maybe try practicing. Okay, so you're doing your E minor, and then see, I stumbled all over that first C note there, but I still got to it by the time I was ready to strum again. Right? You know, instead of just getting everywhere at the same time, you don't have to do that. You know, so I tried to to teach her that. It's a little hard to translate that over video call, you know, and especially because we weren't at this angle where she could really see how late I'm getting to that C note, right? But I told her that's one thing to try. And then this is almost the reverse of that. And I told her just to use this as a practice because she's already making her C's like that. But if she wanted to just practice coming from that E minor and doing the C without the bass note. And again, that's antithetical to what I just said about that's how I'd rather do it, because you can play and keep along with the song and nobody's gonna know the difference if it takes you a minute to get to those higher notes. It's that root. But for practice, I just wanted her going however she makes her E minor, right? And then, but that was mainly for muscle memory, because even though that neck is huge on that guitar, she's training her hands to go, and it's and in that sense, she makes it like that. It's just a one finger move, right? So basically making her C chords in this motion versus that way. Just as a practice, right? But we talked about a G chord as well, and I asked her, did she know how to make a G chord? She says she did. And she used the first string with a ring finger. And so I asked her to move it up to that second string, make her G like that. Still a G. Then I showed her a C add 9, because that's different fingerings than her C major. Now that was a lot easier for her to move from that E minor to that. And she knows how to make a D, so she's already familiar with her ring finger on that second string, right? So then I asked her, did she know a D sus2, which is basically just the D with the middle finger up, you know, just to get by. So then we went from E minor to C add 9 to D sus2 up to G. Now those three chords right there, because you're not moving your ring finger at all, that's so easy. So her E minor to C was her problem, but we ended up unlocking four chords, and the transitions are really easy between those chords. So a C add 9 is not the perfect fix for the C major, but with the practices that I gave her, and in the meantime, she can do that. And keep playing songs. So guys, I want to invite you, if you like this lesson, if this is helping you, to subscribe. And if you want lessons in order, because the MyPOVGuitar beginner course builds, each lesson builds on the other, and it just keeps going. I take you from the parts of the guitar, the very basics, how to hold a pick, to reading tablature, chord charts, and we end it with an introduction to bar chords. It's 50 lessons. You can't beat it with a stick. There's a link in the description. Guys, if you want all these in order and to make learning a lot faster than watching a YouTube video here, a YouTube video there, you can do it at your own pace. But until then, guys, we'll see you in the next lesson.